Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Cass with College of Lore.
I am the penitent with College of Lore.
Guess what this is an episode of?
You can see the title.
You can see the title, so you probably know what it's an episode of.
Yeah.
We're doing the Legend of Vox Machina rewatch part 2 of however many episodes there are going to be in the first season plus the second season, which comes out in late January. I'm very excited.
Yeah. And if you want to see us post more episodes of this, and you want to see us cover Season 2, as it comes out, we'll probably release Episode 1 of Season 2 the day it comes out.
Yep.
Subscribe.
Yep,
and
subscribe. Like this video, comment, and tell us you're enjoying this series, and check out our Patreon, because we have patrons, and so I'm going to announce those right now. Our two patrons who get shouted out in every video. That is Remy Sweet and Of Winter, are our two patrons right now.
Yeah, thank you both.
Thank you both, we love you, and to the rest of you who watch this video, if you would like to be shouted out in all our videos, and get access to our cool Discord server, where we get to talk to you and do polls and stuff, you can do that, if you sign up on our Patreon. So, we're going to get into this now. So we watched episode 2, and we're going to talk about episode 2. We always record these right after watching the episode, so it's all fresh in our brains. I'm going to let you hit the first bullet point.
Yeah, so this episode is called The Terror of Tal'Dorei, Part 2.
Part 2.
Its summary on the website is Vox Machina tells Sovereign Uriel of the monstrous culprit behind the devastating village attacks, and manage to track the creature back to its hidden lair. For the safety of Amon, Vox Machina must rise to the occasion and go face to face with a beast that is seemingly impossible to kill.
Yep. Alright. So we know what that is.
Yes.
It's a dragon.
It is the Blue Dragon Brimscythe.
Blue Dragon Brimscythe, which I don't think the name was revealed until this episode, but that's what it's called.
Yes. So we like to go over beat by beat what happens and make our little commentary on it, and then go over a few things to close up. So, starting this, what's our first scene?
So, our first scene, we kind of open on the, kind of a squadron of military personnel from Amon. The whole first scene is like, oh my god, we're so nervous, we don't know what we're fighting or how we're gonna fight it, and oh my god, we're so scared. And then General Krieg is like, hey, no, we don't need to know what we're fighting, we just need to believe in ourselves, and we're gonna go kill whatever monster this is. And that's what happens.
So, spoiler. Because the way this is designed, you were supposed to have seen the season already before watching this. Or at least episode 2. Please go watch episode 2 and come back if you
back to this,
haven't seen this.
Spoiler alert.
Krieg is the dragon.
Krieg is the dragon.
When it's worth noting, lore-wise at least, I don't think it's touched on in the show, but it is touched on in Critical Role.
Yes.
Krieg was a normal person who was killed and replaced by the dragon Brimscythe.
Yes, because dragons can take, mortal personas.
Yes.
Humanoid.
So, Krieg isn't this dragon's persona, it's a person that he is killed and replaced.
Yes, which is relevant. The one other thing that you pick up on in this scene before this dragon attacks is there is kind of a nod to what kind of beast they're fighting, and the blue dragon being lightning, because he has this ominous, foreshadowing line of a storm's blowing into it.
Yes.
Which is... it's pretty clearly foreshadowing the fact that a lightning dragon is about to come fuck shit up.
Or that the Iron Storm is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of things are happening.
So, in the middle of the night, they are set upon by a dragon.
Yep.
Mysteriously...
Krieg is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, mysteriously we do not see Krieg in this fight.
It is a lot of murdering in this scene. And obviously this is an 18+ show, and it's rated that way for violence, and that's kind of the point of it.
The gore is almost excessive.
It's excessive on purpose.
Yes.
But it is designed to be, holy shit, that's a lot of gore. And it's animated, which is very different than, physical, flesh and blood live-action gore. But it is intense.
It is a lot, and I remember...
And it is like that on purpose, in order to demonstrate the ferocity of the Blue Dragon.
Obviously, we've seen this season before.
Yes.
And I remember watching it with you, and you kind of being taken aback by the abruptness of it.
Yeah, that's the point. But, for a first-time watch, it goes hard. It hits hard. And that's the point.
It's similar to another property on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Where just at the end of episode 1 of that series, there's just this abrupt, really gory turn after kind of cartoony violence earlier.
Yep.
And yeah, it's it's just abrupt gore, and it's kind of the same effect.
This whole show, kind of, in various points, has kind of a transition between, like, slapstick comedy violence and, like, straight up, holy shit, these guys are fucking dead and violence.
Much as I hate Amazon as a corporation,
yeah,
that's something their animators, their companies do really well.
Yeah, and it's something they're clearly comfortable with letting people do, which is a good thing.
Is at what point do you kick it up to 11 of the violence?
Yeah.
They do it in Invincible, they do it in Legend of Vox Machina. I'm sure there are other properties that I'm blanking on.
That we've not.
They do it several times in both of those shows.
Yes. It's excessive on purpose, it's intense on purpose. The whole point is to make it clear how crazy powerful a dragon is compared to, like, a normal soldier.
Yes.
And even compared to Vox Machina, as we saw in the first episode.
Yeah, so hit points.
Yeah.
A soldier has about 20?
Yeah. And Vox Machina were fairly high level at the start of the original campaign. I don't remember.
Yes.
They were 9, I think?
Yeah, 9, I think.
Yeah, I've looked at their character sheets online, and I've watched a little bit of stuff, but I do the podcast, so I can't quite see all of that. But I believe when I was looking at their official character sheets, they started at level 9.
Yes.
Somewhere around there. So, that's a pretty massive difference already from a, like, 3rd or 4th level character at most having around 20 HP. Compared to, like, level 9 being significantly higher. Depending on, obviously, on class and con mod and all that.
But they have much more health than a random soldier.
Yes, and they still get fucked up. These guys just get messed up
worse.
Yes,
which is why the gore is so pronounced here, which is why, one attack in there.
Yeah, because they're not physically capable of withstanding more or mitigating that damage in the same way.
Dead, whereas later you will see Pike take a, like, tail swipe, for example.
Yeah. And she gets knocked backwards.
But she
hurt
lives.
Bad. She has, the standard anime cartoon depiction of damage as being like little bruises on armor and face and stuff. But she's alive. And not unconscious or anything. It just hurts a lot, and you can see kind of the difference in the way that's handled animation-wise.
Which I think is really cool.
Yes.
I don't know if we talked about it last time, but the intro is really neat.
The intro is really neat. I was not paying attention because I was trying to focus on other things. I was trying to take notes, and I forgot and got distracted.
Yes.
I'm very easily distracted. I have so much ADHD. The intro is really cool. We didn't talk about it last time. I'll probably talk about it again because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. So
I was doing something on my phone. I don't remember what I was doing.
When we cut back in,
yes,
we learned that Krieg has survived.
Yes, he is alive.
And he is talking to the Sovereign about what happened. Tells them it's Blue Dragon. Kind of mentions what to do about it.
Yeah.
Allura is also here and kind of... It's mentioned that she's fought a dragon before.
Yes.
I think it's kind of cool sidebar that Allura is openly admitted to be Matt's self-insert for the first campaign.
Which you do love.
Which I think is fascinating.
Yeah. The constant exasperation is a vibe for DMs, I'll be real.
Yes. As is them expecting the DM to fix it.
Yeah.
Vox Machina is just a little late
for
their revelation that it's a blue dragon.
Yep, like literally a few minutes late. The whole how did you survive? You guys are supposed to be failures, and I love the. Well, of course we did a very good job. We hid and it flew away.
I like Percy.
I love Percy. He's just a little guy.
Notably, Krieg is very kind of like almost entertained.
Yeah.
While Fince is very annoyed and dismissive.
Yeah. They set Fince up really, really well as the dragon ally. Which makes sense, because it's kind of a bait and switch. They really, really set him up well for that, especially because he's so weird and so antagonistic to the party. And of course they're gonna suspect him.
Obviously,
and not Krieg, because Krieg is acting like he's on their side.
In this room, Vex feels it again. What we mentioned in episode 1, what you see in episode 1, her favorite enemy.
Yes, favorite foe, I believe, at higher level, but yes.
Ranger ability, she gets a headache when the dragon or consort of the dragon is near.
Yes.
Love how they've mechanized this for this series.
It's super cool the way that... I mean, they mechanize a lot of stuff in interesting ways, but an ability that's supposed to be kind of passive and it's hard to show, they mechanize it really well. I love how much everyone likes Trinket. I think it's super cute.
Yeah, I like that the guards are softened Trinket.
Yeah, the guards are like petting Trinket when everybody else walks back out and is like, no, we weren't petting your bear.
And Trinket likes other
Just
people.
a really big dog.
Unless you challenge Trinket's mom.
Unless you challenge Trinket's mom, which Scanlan sure tries that and sure gets scared because of Trinket. I love Trinket so much. He's just a little guy.
Vax is bisexual.
Vax is bisexual, and I love that.
So,
by Vax. You do love to see it.
Vex makes this plan to have Vax and Pike go to Gilmore's, figure out stuff, everyone else try to,
love
shadow
Gilmore
fence.
as well.
Yeah, Vax is very bi, and I like that they're open about that.
Yeah, I think it's awesome that they are super, super open and clear, and it's not explicitly like, hi, I'm bisexual. But it doesn't need to be, that's not how most people talk.
No.
It's clear that he vibes with that, and it's super cool that they're just open about showing that, and they don't care.
It's a passive thing, and if Gilmore were a woman, what I like about the representation about part of this, and exposing it to a more straighter, probably, audience, is that you could swap Gilmore out for a woman, and that scene and whole interaction would play entirely the same.
Yeah, it's not like it's, super loaded with gay stuff.
Yeah.
Gilmore is awesome. One of the other things I really, really like about that is, and this is just kind of an aside because this is more my body type, I love that he's not, like, this super muscular or super, like, he is attractive, that is a definite fact about him, but he's not the conventionally attractive, like, thin, like, muscly, like, white guy.
Yes.
That you would expect as a standard depiction of anyone, but especially in the gay community. I love that he has the aesthetic of a bear. And that's awesome to me. That's, Trinket aside.
Yes.
That is really, really cool to me. And it is rare to see representation so clear and defined, and so accepting of other body types. And I love that is not a deterrent for anyone's interactions with him or attraction to him. That's awesome.
Yeah, the show is really good at...
It's really good casual representation. It makes me really happy.
Representation of everything, really.
Yeah.
So, notable thing in Gilmore Shop as Pike and Vax go there.
Yeah, there are a bunch of Campaign 2 Easter eggs.
Yes, there is a red weasel.
Yep. It's very cool.
There is Tusklove, the book.
With Ford and Jester on the cover, yeah.
Which I think all of that is very neat.
It's very
just
funny.
Cute little Easter eggs to Campaign 2.
There's a bunch of stuff in there.
So there offered at one point a Lance of Dragon Slaying.
Yes.
Now that's not an item that exists canonically in D&D. But the Dragon Slayer longsword does, and it's actually nearly 5k gold.
So what did he offer? Was it
2,500?
I thought it was 20,000.
Or, you know what? Yeah, it might have been 20,000.
Yeah.
Which that's a rip.
That's a huge ripoff if that's how that
I guess
works.
the upcharge to Lance is
Yeah, Lances versus Longsword. This is a big difference.
Yeah. Ugh.
So nearly 5,000 versus like 20,000. That's a big gap. Huh?
Yeah.
There is some really cool stuff. I do love the little reading bit that Gilmore reads out from the book. That's very it's foreshadowing, and they kind of call back to it in the combat later.
Yeah. Obviously, they don't have the money to buy a weapon to kill a dragon with, but they
get advice.
And they talk about where the two rivers meet, and that gets called back to you later in the fight.
Yes. And Gilmore flirting with Vax winking back at Gilmore after a particularly pointed flirting.
To show it's reciprocated rather than, and this is a trope that is kind of common, the straight man patronizing the gay man to get something out of him.
Yeah. And they very clearly do not do that.
It's clearly shown that Vax has some interest back here.
Yes. Winks at him very clearly. It's a very short moment, but it does happen. And throughout the whole scene, it's not even just that. It's throughout the whole scene, it's very clear. They're into each other, to some degree.
Yes. So, after that we cut to Scanlan and Grog.
Who are just chilling.
Who don't actually want to find Finch, but somehow accidentally do.
Yeah, of course they're the ones to do it. So that's a whole thing that happens. I do love the Scanlan jumping into the barrel of ale and then looking through the cork hole in the bottom. I think that's really funny.
Yeah. It's very visually entertaining.
It is, yeah. They follow Finch to a bunch of places, and end up following him all the way to Krieg's house.
Yeah. Basically, Scanlan's like, okay, keep an eye, I'm gonna go get everyone else. And then Grog asks, can you pick me up a sandwich on the way back?
And then does the biggest pouty puppy dog eyes when Scanlan initially says no. As he should. The door thing, that's a continuing thing. That was a thing in the campaign, that's a thing.
Vox Machina will always struggle to open doors.
Vox Machina's worst enemy is none other than every door ever.
But it does show the lack of really teamwork as they kind of get at
Yes.
each other's throats. You know, they try
They
heat.
get in each other's way.
You see heat metal. You see an attempt at knock, I believe.
Yes.
Uh,
An attempt at Pike cast detect magic multiple times, and finds out that the lock is not magical.
Yeah.
And also cast it further later in the house. Yeah.
Yeah. None of those spells work. We see 3 interesting spells: detect
Yes.
magic, heat metal, and knock.
Yeah.
And then Vex just picks it.
Yeah. Vax just goes over.
Yeah. Vex just picks it.
Yeah.
A little finesse.
Yep. And yeah, it shows kind of they get at each other's throats, they get in each other's way. That's kind of their thing at this stage.
They're not exactly a team yet, as one would say.
But they get in and find Finns, who is snooping, and gets super cornered, and they're like, oh, we're gonna kill this guy, and then he gets killed by someone else first.
Yeah, don't stand with your back to doors.
Yeah, especially not when you're trying to sneak into somewhere.
That was a bad idea, and the first time I was watching it, I saw his back was to a door, and I'm like, oh, he's about to get stabbed.
Yeah, and then he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I didn't pick up on it because I wasn't paying a ton of attention
so,
the first time.
Finch is actually a good guy investigating Krieg, and Krieg is actually working with the dragon.
Which is what we assume at this point.
Yes. Vex's ability triggers again.
Yep. So you get the headache from Favored Foe.
And Vex, as he does several times in the series, says that he's got him.
Yep.
And entirely fails to do anything with some daggers.
Gets deflected.
Yes. Right, I forget. Percy says to look for a fulcrum, because they chase Krieg, and Krieg goes into this study and just kind of disappears.
Yes.
And Percy mentions finding a fulcrum.
Which is
kind
of lever.
Scanlan and Vax both decide that what he said was fuck room.
Yeah, which, no.
Much to Percy's annoyance.
Rest in peace, Percy.
Yes.
He's got to be so sick of it all the time. I love that for him.
I love how Percy, this born noble, is
He's
stuck
just
with...
stuck with all this, yeah. And yeah, like I said, they do detect magic again, and basically everything in the room lights up.
Yeah, notably, Keyleth and Grog accidentally find the portal.
Yep,
because
an accident, entirely.
Grog is horny, and Keyleth is annoyed by that.
Yeah.
So she throws a book at his head and accidentally finds a portal on the sexy dragon lady.
Yes. There is a cute little moment between Vax and Keyleth.
Yeah, where Vex says she's brilliant, and then Vex says, Keyleth says it's nothing, and then Vex says, she threw a book, it really was nothing.
It's literally nothing, yeah. She sure tries to give a little pep talk.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
She tries to talk about teamwork, using teamwork, and everyone kind of shoves her off, Scanlan and Vax included.
Yes. And then they go through the portal, and it's like, whoa, this is a lot of fucking money.
And, you'd initially think they would think about the dragon, but...
No. I mean, they're mercenaries, and they're Vox Machina, and of course they find a shit ton of money, and they're like, oh shit, there's a shit ton of money.
And then Vex kind of realizes, right, Horde.
Yeah. So, woo, surprise! They have stumbled directly into the lair of the dragon.
And Krieg appears again, and can I just say, David Tennant does an amazing job.
He really, really does. I was so excited when I found out he was going to be in the show, even for a little bit. Yeah. I was so hyped.
He does an amazing job portraying Krieg in this.
He's awesome. He has so much energy for it. It's really good. It's really well done.
There's some great and really well-renowned actors in this. David Tennant, obviously.
Yeah.
Greg Griffin, who we'll see later in the season, playing Delilah Briarwood, also does a really amazing job. The voice cast for this is really good, but...
It's really well done.
Even among the great voice cast, David Tennant stands out as...
Yeah. Especially early on, his energy is just on point, and there's so much of it, and it fits so well.
When the turn happens, the villainous turn, he has this menace to his voice that I haven't seen him play villains enough. I've seen him play a few times, I've seen some Shakespeare stuff.
Yeah.
But he can do the villainous edge that a lot of people might not have seen if they only know the Doctor Who stuff.
Yes, which is basically all I know, because I did that for a while. You can see, you can hear it in his voice. There's it feels like there's venom dripping from every word he says. He has an ego about it, but you can see he is confident and vein, as as Gilmore says dragons are, and you very much see that not just in actions, but specifically in his voice work, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And obviously that is not the main focus of the show, but it is something I want to note because it is really, really good voice work.
It's a 2-episode bit. It could have been so easy to cast it with someone lesser known,
or half-ass it if someone did.
Yeah. I like.
There were a lot of ways to half-ass that, and they really went all the way.
I liken it to Patrick Stewart, for example, who, God, I think asked for this 40-page write-up on his character.
I think they gave him the write-up without him asking. I think I know what you're talking about.
They gave him this huge write-up. He spent a ton of time researching his role.
Yes.
Deeply committed. Huge name actor. This is after The Next Generation.
Yeah.
So much stuff Patrick Stewart has done. And his character dies in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yes. But he loved it, according to all accounts.
It's one of his favorite roles, yeah.
Yeah. He loved doing it.
In The Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
He loved being included in all that, which I think is super cool. And I don't think anyone should be discounted for how much or how little they speak in this show.
Yeah, it's not the size of the role, it's the size of the actor.
Yes. And it is also props to the crew and the people making this show because it's a big name that can get people hooked, which is also smart. Back to the actual plot of the episode.
Yeah, so, surprise, surprise, Krieg is the dragon.
Krieg is the dragon, not just working with the dragon, is the dragon. We talked about this a little bit in the last one. I actually really, really like the distinct animation of the dragon. I think it's, one, really dynamic and fluid, which makes sense, and two, it really adds to the menace when it looks so different, it stands out so much.
He also mentions that the Age of Man is coming to an end, which is a foreshadowing to Season 2.
Yes. Things that are gonna happen later with, the stuff in there. If you know anything about Critical Role and you're watching the show, it's the Chroma Conclave.
Yes.
Which is the whole thing.
And there's another piece for that later in the episode.
Yes.
But yeah.
You see the 5 heads, 5 different color heads of the dragon on the rug, which I didn't mention, but you do see that.
So
Tiamat's 5 heads, technically.
The fight is notably really cool.
It is super, super cool.
You get to see a lot of things. You get to see a lot of people working somewhat together. They try to take shots at the dragon. It doesn't work.
They're clearly getting wrecked.
Yes, they are getting destroyed. Pike basically saves Scanlan's life at some point. The same with Keyleth and Percy.
Yeah. They all kind of split up and do their own stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, that was what Vex was talking about. She's talking about, we need to cooperate on this, and everybody's like, no, we're going to go do our own stuff.
Like they've always done.
Yes.
Percy kind of eventually asks Vax, did you get any insight at all? And then Vax looks at where the lightning comes from with the blue dragon.
And he kind of figures it out.
You can see this outline of rivers.
Yeah. The symbol that they show in the book that Gilmore was showing them.
To which he says that they need to get the dragon on the ground.
Yes. Vex's plan is so smart. It's genuinely so good.
I love this scene, the whole little bit here.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know exactly what spell it is. I think it might have been Major Image, actually.
It's either Major Image or Seeming.
Well, Seeming is the one.
Seeming is
the one that makes you look like someone else, right?
Yeah, it might have been Major Image. I think.
I was thinking it was Major. I don't actually know. I could
let us
probably,
know in the comments.
Let us know which one that was, because I think it's Major Image, but I don't know. Major Image is like a 3rd level spell or something.
Yeah.
Seeming is higher level.
They all appear.
Yeah.
I know that Scanlan has Seeming.
Yes. Because that's used later in the campaign.
Yeah, in the campaign, yeah.
In Whitestone. Yeah.
They all appear to be arguing
in
front of Krieg about who can kill the dragon.
They're doing their very standard, bickering amongst each other in a really bad situation, and Krieg is very entertained.
But also pissed off that they're like, you think you can kill me.
Yeah. And so he's a little insulted by their arrogance and stupidity simultaneously.
And he goes and he lands next to them.
Yeah.
To basically close-range breath weapon.
Yeah. And it does not work, because he shoots them and it is an illusion.
Yes. So, very quickly, Keyleth casts some sort of... I don't know the druid spell list well enough to...
I don't remember.
It wraps in vines. One of the vine spells.
Yeah, it's probably a higher level one, because it's not Entangle, because Entangle is much lower.
Entangle is terrain, too.
Yeah. I don't know exactly which one it is, but it is very good.
Followed by Percy shooting at the stalactites.
Yeah.
Because the whole plan is get him on the ground.
Yeah, pin him, yeah.
Yes.
So basically they're trying to terrain manipulate to clip his wings. Basically ground him by trapping his wings.
Yes.
Which is super cool and super well done.
Brimscythe, obviously pissed at this.
Yeah.
Kind of shoots breath weapon into the sky.
Yeah. Into the ceiling and kind of knocks a bunch of rocks down. Vax trying to run at him, and Super almost gets killed, and then Scanlan. The spell is Bigby's hand. Obviously,
Yes.
that's copyrighted by Wizards, and apparently they couldn't get clearance for it, or a couple of other things. So Scanlan's hand.
Yes.
And then
breaks the rock.
Yeah.
Catches Vax and throws him
Yeet.
at the dragon.
Yeah.
The TV tropes would call this fastball special.
Yes.
Just launches Vax, who cuts right where the breath weapon.
Yes, right where the
where
symbol is.
symbol
where the breath weapon charges in his throat. Yeah.
Which makes him very pissed and distressed and stops the breath weapon from happening.
Yes, which is cool.
And then I think magic weapon.
It's some kind of damage enhancing on a weapon spell by Pipe.
Yeah.
It might be magic weapon.
It might be something else.
Yeah. Tell us in the comments.
I know clerics get magic weapon is the only reason I bring it
clerics
up.
get magic weapon, and it enchants Vex's aura.
Yes, which shoots them and hurts a lot, gets them low, and then
And she's basically like, okay, look who's low, and Grog is like, fuck yeah, my turn.
I would like to raid, which is a quote
raid.
from both of the campaigns.
From a lot of things, yeah. It's a very running thing. Grog just goes up and turns around, absolutely just coated in blood and like bits of gore. He's like, did we kill it?
Yeah. Just say,
is it dead?
The music for this series.
Yeah.
There's one action scene later in the series where I like the music better.
Yeah. This one is good, and you can hear little hints of the theme song.
No, the action scene music, like, I think there's one of, like, the best of all time action scene musics later in the series, and I'll bring it up when we get through it.
Yes.
But, man, all of the action scene music, all of the music really, but all of the action music is just amazing in this series.
The soundtrack for this is honestly on point. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Dragon dies. Gotta go.
Yeah, the
blast.
whole layer starts to collapse. They run. Scanlan tries to take some gold.
And sure, almost gets murdered because of it.
The operative word there being tries.
Yeah, tries. And then the kind of the back shot of Vax at the last minute, just being reminded of the kid that died and throwing the coin back into the layer as it collapses.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good just nod back to that whole thing, to the reason that they kept doing it. It's very good.
But he's dead.
The
dragon is dead.
They killed the dragon. And they will kill more dragons later.
They are named Protectors of the Realm.
They sure will.
And honorary members of the Tal'Dorei Council.
Which is going to be more important later.
Yeah.
Percy is so proud of himself. He's so happy that they're finally...
respectability.
He's so glad to be, like, seen as a decent, respectable person again.
No one else cares, though.
No one else gives a shit.
They want their reward, and they do get their reward.
It is not money, but it is something very valuable. They get a house.
Yeah, a permanent keep, which...
House time.
Some people aren't as thrilled about, but... Vax and Vax...
Yeah, it's a moment for Vax and Vax, because it's been a long time since they have had anywhere they felt even vaguely safe in. And it's certainly their own first home together, properly, away from anyone else in their history.
Their first home since Draconic things.
Yeah, their first home since their mother,
And the Keyleth interrupts that moment.
She's so cute. She's so awkward, and it's such a mood, and she's so cute. I love Keyleth. She's so good.
She's adorable. They do foreshadow briefly here the Chroma Conclave, because they mention other dragons.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. Woo! My favorite characters!
We see a carriage driving through the woods.
Yeah, they talk about the dignitaries.
Yeah, they mentioned dignitaries coming in. They mentioned they're going to have a kind of meeting of all the Mayans.
Yeah.
To deal with this dragon threat.
And then it cuts to this.
You see a carriage going through the woods. There's a tree down in the path, and the person driving the carriage calls back for a Lady Briarwood.
Yeah.
To which a man steps out of the carriage to deal with the tree. And man, these are the unluckiest robbers of all time.
Yeah, these are the least lucky bandits in the world. They picked the wrong time and place.
Yeah.
Silas gets out of the car.
It's a trap to rob noble people. Silas gets out of the car to help move the tree.
And basically, like, beats them to death with it. Literally sticks his hand through their leader and, like, rips through their chest.
Yeah, and then you don't really see much else.
No, you don't see it.
You just see blood splatter on the carriage window as Delilah drinks tea inside the carriage.
She's absolutely having the time of her life, just letting that go down. Neither of them are at all fazed by this.
Nope, Silas just, wipes his hand off with a handkerchief when he gets back in.
Yep. And it's like, I hope that wasn't too much of a problem. No, absolutely not. No trouble at all. Yep.
And they continue, and you can see in the distance the palace in Amon.
They are my favorite villains, and they are so much bisexual.
Silas is fucking terrifying.
Silas is... You know how it is.
Yeah.
I have tastes. And they cater to them very much.
So, let's talk about character growth.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
For Vax in this episode.
So, obviously everyone kind of gets their shared development.
Yeah.
The big thing about Vax that stands out to me most in this episode is him, the callback to the kid. The fact that he didn't forget about it, the fact that they followed through on that, the fact that they show that he that was the reason that they actually tried to do this, and the fact that he calls back to it and acknowledges, this is the reason we were able to do this, this is what inspired us to do this, and we did this for you and it's done.
Yeah.
And kind of calling back and showing that he really did care about that, and that really was important to him. That's his moment, I think. And obviously also the stuff with Gilmore, which we talked about earlier, and that's less of a character growth thing and more of a character demonstration thing. But it does make me really happy.
Vex. So her leadership is one of the big things that develops here. Vex
is a leader in a lot of different ways, and obviously for a lot of it, she's their money handler, she's their haggler, she's very much on the social end of things, kind of the party face in a lot of situations, and that shows here to a degree, but more than that, it shows her out of social situations leadership, and how she really is trying to pull them together.
What I look for most of Vex's development is for her to take off of the reins a little.
Yeah. And I love that she gets them organized, but then she also acknowledges that they're all in doing this together, which is a really good kind of thing to see from her.
So, Percy, not a lot in the early
bit. Not a lot in the early bit, because the whole rest of the season is his.
But you do see him a little bit...
I mean, you kind of get nods to how he was and how he wants to be, which is respectable, personable,
respectability, important.
He wants to be respectable and he wants to be respected, and that has not been true for a while, and we will get to that in the rest of the season when we hit Whitestone proper.
Yeah. Keyleth in this episode.
Oh, she's so cute.
Yeah, not a lot of changes with her in this.
No,
but...
it's more of a fleshing out. These first two episodes are very much about fleshing out their characters, and you do see that. You do see kind of it showing her personality and her way of interacting with people.
Yeah.
I like that they give some credit to Grog in this episode and in the last one, but especially in this one, where he takes the dragon fang and is like, we need proof that we did this.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And
I think it's really cool that they're like, yeah, you're smart and we give you credit for it.
Yeah.
I think it's Scanlan who says that.
Pike in this episode.
Yeah. She is... There's a lot that comes up with Pike later in the season too, which I really like. So this is all about fleshing out their characters at first, but I do like that she and Scanlan are kind of shown. He's shown to rely on her a lot, which I find interesting, and she's very much steps up to that, which I find interesting.
She's very good at taking care of things.
She's very good at stepping up to the plate and just kind of taking responsibility for things, in a very different way to Vex, but she does have kind of a compass and she feels she needs to have direction in her life at all times, and that comes up later in the season. And Scanlan does what he does best and fucks around.
Yeah.
But in this point, he uses his charisma very much to his advantage, and he casts that spell, and it's very well orchestrated. All of them working together. And I like that he shows more of his character, but you can also see that he's coming into it a little more in being more than just the horny bard stereotype, which is really cool. He is really creative and really clever, and they show that a little bit more in this one.
Yeah, Vox Machina as a whole with character development.
Yeah, I mean they're nailing it. This is where they're starting to kind of come together as a group, as a team, instead of just a group of people who work together vaguely, who work on the same things more than even together. And you can see all of their character development, all of their character kind of getting fleshed out, their personalities, their vibes. That's kind of the point of these first two episodes, is to get you to know these characters before they really put you in the thick of it, which they start doing in the next episode.
But they've gone from nothing to Protectors of the Realm.
Yeah, and that takes more time. I know in the actual campaign, they've actually been in Amon for a while, and that's shown much more in the campaign, which I've actually seen some people talking about, how is that going to be different in the second season when, if you haven't seen the second season trailer, you should go watch it, because I'm about to give you a bunch of spoilers. Okay, you've had your warning. When Amon gets attacked by dragons.
Yes.
And so I've seen a lot of people talking about, like, how is this going to affect perception of that whole setting? Because but in the actual campaign, they were way more directly involved in stuff in Amon before that. And they'd been there for a while, and it was really more home to them than it is shown in this. So I've seen some people speculating about that, and I'm excited to talk about that when they get there. But to actually stay on the point of this episode, I really like that they're kind of shown to be coming into their own and finding a proper place in this setting at this point.
First impressions this episode. The Briarwoods are the only really first impressions.
You know how I feel about the Briarwoods. I love them. If villain bad, then why attractive? If villains are so bad, then why are they hot? This is my personal opinion. There are a lot of good villains in this season and in Critical Role as a whole, but man, they are compelling, and they only get more compelling, and I am a big fan of the motivations that they kind of reveal later on. It does not make them good people, but it is such a deep... It's good. And obviously we'll get into that more later, but I love the Briarwoods. I love how they're immediately painted as very intense. They convey what they needed to convey about the Briarwoods perfectly in this kind of foreshadowing first scene of them, in the first connection that we see of them. It is an absolutely incredible first impression. It paints a good picture of how it's going to go from them.
Yeah, absolutely. The Briarwoods are really good villains.
They're really good, and they're really hot.
How many stars do you give this?
I told you I'm going to give 5 stars in every single goddamn episode. When we get later into it, I'm just going to start giving them 6.
Yeah, I have to agree, I think.
I don't know why we're giving them stars, because I'm going to give literally every episode 5 stars or more.
It's great, you should check it out. And
Yeah,
if you have any of your own opinions on this episode, or any of the series as a whole...
Yeah, you drop them in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear you.
Obviously, we're always open to discussion. Generally, if you're watching this, I'm going to assume you had somewhat of a positive opinion of the show. Obviously, we are kind of glowing reviews here. But if you have anything else that you want to point out that we might have missed, feel free to drop that in the comments as well.
As always, let us know if you are liking our show as well.
Yeah. So
we're really excited to do Season 2 when it comes out. We're
super
excited to keep
excited
doing
for
this.
Season 2.
Hopefully this slots right in, so there is very little...
Maybe a week gap, or maybe we'll even upload 2 in the same week, depending on how things go.
Yeah.
Hopefully the overlap there works out pretty well.
If you weren't aware, our Wednesday show has been changed a bit.
Yep.
We are doing a homebrew review of my own home-written stuff.
Calling it Homebrew Hour. Tentatively.
So go ahead and check that out as well.
Yep, we have a channel update that we posted earlier this week too, so go check that out if you want to know more about what we're getting into.
Do check us out on Patreon and subscribe.
It has cat pictures.
And subscribe for cat pictures. Also, top 10s, RPG reviews.
We rank a bunch of stuff.
Ranked Game Tales.
We ranked all the first level spells this week, and oh my god, it sucks so bad.
Yeah,
we do a bunch of stuff on here, and hopefully you will enjoy all of it.
Daily D&D content. Check out D&D Actual Play. Check out Call of Valor Actual Play and Call of Valor Shorts.
Yep.
For other content.
Our shorts are good, and I'm not just saying that because I write and record all of them.
Our Actual Play is on hiatus this week.
Yep, and maybe next week we'll see where it goes.
Probably not next week.
I hope not next week, because I'd like to keep going, but you know how it be. Life.
Yep, that being said...
We love you guys.
Yeah,
thanks for checking this series out. And make sure to watch the first one if for some reason you didn't watch it. See you later!
Thank you for watching this video from College of Lore. Remember to like this video, subscribe to join the party, and have a fantastic adventure.